I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving, I'm moving.
What's good? It's your boy Jay. That's me. Let's discuss and dive into Impact Wrestling for June the 15th, 2023. This was the Fallout show from Against All Odds. We are officially on the road to Slammiversary, which is in 4 weeks' time, and Impact is slowly but surely starting to build and fill out the remainder of the card. So we had a really long promo segment to kick off the show. I do not like when they try to do WWE-esque type of segments, and this is what they started the show off with. This is a very long promo segment. So Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, they come to the ring. Chris Sabin gets on the mic. He says he had a dream that he became the 9-time X Division champion and that Shelley finally became the world champion. Sabin said he woke up and realized that it wasn't a dream. It was a dream that came true. Alex Shelley said that he ugly cried because he felt he wasn't good enough, but the title proved that he was. He talked about mentioning Okada, Jay White, the Young Bucks, Trey Miguel, and Kushida, and Seth Rollins, and how they became world champions. He now says, he now can say that he became a world champion because of the fans, the locker room, and his mentors. Then Chris Sabin asked Shelley if he was a world champ, and Alex Shelley said, "Yep." So he said, "It's a new era in Impact, the Machine Guns era." So then out comes Nick Aldis. Aldis says both of them did what they said they were going to do. Nick says that he's proud of Alex Shelley helping him early in his career, and said that he was another world champion that Shelley helped. Aldis said that he isn't the same guy that that Alex helped, and that now Alex has risen to his level. So fans, they slightly boo at that. Nick said he would also do everything in his power to make sure that it was him that beats Alex Shelley for the title. And I knew there when he said that, I knew they were going to turn him heel. And that was great. That was great. That was just a little nudge there, a little nugget there. So in comes Trey Miguel. He burped, which was nasty. He said that he had gas from all the smoke they were blowing. He said that they forgot him and asked where his respect was. Chris Sabin cut him off and said that Trey had to earn respect. Sabin said that Trey could earn respect by saying it to his face. Trey said no. Then out comes Kenny King. He and Sheldon Jean, they sat alongside Trey Miguel. Kenny King said all that he heard was a lot of talking, but Trey was the only one speaking the truth. Kenny King called Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, and Nick Aldis Office favorites. And he called Nick Nepotism Nick. And then Chris Sabin challenged him to a match. Then we get another interruption by Giselle Shaw. Oh my God. So she comes out with her crew, Savannah Evans and Jay Vidal. She said the spotlight should be hers, but they rolled out the red carpet for Trinity just like they did the Guns and Nick Aldis. She questioned if they deserved all this. Shelley said, yep. And Shelley said that there was no carpet when they got here. They've been here for decades. And he said, her problem isn't with them, but with Trinity. So Trinity music hits and she walks to the ring. She said that Alex Shelley's school is in session, and she was there to see Shaw get schooled. Jay said that he thought she was just there to get slapped by him again. Trinity threatened to knock him out again. Deanna Purrazzo came out. Purrazzo said she surpassed 500 cumulative days as knockout champion. Trinity interrupted and said that Deanna would only be champion until Slammiversary. Nick Aldis agreed that some things would change at Slammiversary. Santino comes out. He said that if he learned anything from Ernest the Cat Miller, it's to take advantage of an opportunity. He made a 5-on-5 tag match for the main event. So, this is okay, but it was a little bit too long for my liking. Again, you don't need all of this nonsense. Like, we could have easily done like a 6-person tag, but this is Impact. Again, they went the AEW route on this one. The AEW / Monday Night Raw route, right? This is something that you would see in Monday Night Raw. Not in Triple H's Monday Night Raw, supposedly, but in Vince's Monday Night Raw, you would see this in a heartbeat. But it is what it is. Who cares? Moving on. So Steve Maclin, he cut a promo. He talked about his 2-year journey to the title. He was in a rage and said that the match should have never happened and that he should still be champion. But he's going to get his chance at a rematch later in June when Impact goes to Australia. So that's pretty cool. Moving on. Diener and the rest of the design, they're backstage. Diener said that they lost and asked who was to blame. He looked at Alan Angels. Angels defending himself and said he left where he was because he was tired of being bossed around, and that's all Diener did. He said that he had been a good soldier, and he blamed Diener. Diener said Angels needed to remember who brought him here. Angels said it was the leader of Violent by Design, mentioning Eric Young. Diener got angry. Khan broke it up and said this is exactly what Sami Callihan wanted. He said they needed to show the Impact locker room that this is their territory. And I'm just like, oh my God. Please end this shitty faction. Please. Just put Diener as a producer. Get him the fuck off of television. And put Alan Angels back into the X division. And I guess you could put Khan in some type of tag team or give him a little singles run. I don't know. Just drop this shitty stable. Please. This shit sucks. First match of the night, which went rather long, way too long for my liking. It was almost close to 20 minutes. That was Moose versus Rich Swann. Rich Swann gets the win via roll-up. Early on, he hit a double cutter. That should have been the finish there, but it wasn't. But it is what it is. Who cares? Rich Swann, get him off my television. Moose, he deserves better, but it is what it is. I feel bad for Moose. I feel like whenever Moose's contract is up, I would definitely try to hit up either AEW or WWE. Either or he'd be fine with. Personally, I would like to see him in WWE, honestly. If we're being honest. I get that he's older, but he could still, do well in like an NXT. I could see him being like IC champion, US champion, tag champion on the main roster. I could see him being North American champion as well as the NXT champion in NXT. So that's what I would do if I was Moose. That's just me. Moving on. So Heath, he sat down and said that his journey in Impact has been a roller coaster of a ride. He talked about fighting for his contract, getting injured and coming back, getting Rhino out of a cult, Rhino getting hurt, winning the tag titles, getting rid of Honor No More, and Rhino getting hurt again. He said that what's next for him is letting people know who the hell he is. He said if people forgot, he would give them a wake-up call. Okay, this is fine. Again, I hope that we have Heath as X-Division champion in due time. I think that would be a good way to use him. I don't see him being Impact World Champion. I just don't. It's not really that believable. And I like Heath. Heath is cool. He's funny. He's a down-to-earth guy. But he is just a solid, good mid-carder, if we're being honest. Next, Moose was backstage. He was interrupted by Brian Myers, who told him he had a tough loss tonight, and then against all odds, Moose said it was the wrong time for a lecture. Myers said he failed at leading the Good Hands to a win over ABC, and he said that he and Moose could beat ABC, and I'm just like, oh my God. Brian Myers is another one to get off my television. Impact needs to get rid of guys like Brian Myers, guys like Diener, Kazarian, Eddie Edwards. Get rid of those guys. Put those guys as backstage producers, recruiters, coaches, what have you. Get them off of television. I'm not being mean. I'm just being serious here. Impact needs fresh talent. Seriously, they need fresh talent. Quick, fast, in a hurry. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this nonsense. Brian Myers is better off being a backstage producer or a coach. Seriously. He doesn't need to be on television. He doesn't. Moving on, so Bully Ray, his music played and he walked to the ring. He had a piece of paper. It was a official complaint for Scott D'Amore, hitting him with a chair against the odds. Ray Ross said this is serious. Hannafin said it was a big problem. On commentary, they said this. Bully introduced himself and said he was a victim of Scott D'Amore and atrocious management. He said that Scott took a win away from him and the fans. Bully said that his letter demands justice from Anthem, and he said that his mental health is declining and he wants answers. Scott D'Amore, he hits the ring. He says that he never thought that Bully would be such a whining, stooging bitch. Bully said that he wouldn't tolerate being spoken to like that. Scott said, if you're a jerk, sometimes people will be a jerk back. Bully explained his letter. Scott said he had to go to the Anthem board to hit a complaint, and Anthem ruled that Scott's actions were unbecoming of a president. Bully asked him to repeat it. Scott took off his glasses. He started to insult Bully, but he stopped. Bully wanted him to admit that he was right and that Scott was wrong. Scott said that the board strongly advised him to take a leave of absence as president. Fans shouted no. Bully said Scott's boss has screwed him. He told Scott to leave and don't let the door hit him on the way out. Scott said if he was the president, he couldn't do this. So then he takes down Bully. He brawls with Bully for a little bit. Maclin comes in. They both double team Scott. And then Maclin brings in 2 chairs. Bully chokes Scott with the chair. The lights then went out. PCO hit. And PCO beat up both Steve Maclin and Bully Ray. And then Scott gets on the mic and said that he left out a detail before he took his leave of absence. He made a match at Slammiversary. It's going to be him and PCO versus Bully and Steve Maclin. Who cares? This is absolutely stupid. Again, I want PCO off my television as well. He's okay, but, put him as like a coach or producer. Bully, put him back on Busted Open. Seriously, that's where he needs to stay. Maclin, I'm fine with. Scott D'Amore, he's president, but, get him off of television being a television character. Seriously. So, this leads us into Bully and Steve Maclin being in the hallway. Maclin said that he was worried about PCO. He talked about all the punishment he gave PCO, but he kept getting up. Bully told Maclin that like a Marine. He said PCO was just a man. Then Frankie Kazarian showed up and talked about PCO putting both of them down. Eddie Edwards got in between them. Bully threatened them and Alicia. Bully and Maclin left. Eddie told Frankie that they were Kowalski guys. He made peace with Frankie, and despite Alicia's objections. Okay, that's okay. But then again, please get him off my television. We don't need Frankie Kazarian. We don't need Eddie Edwards. Alicia is fine. She could be somebody's valet. But, you know, we don't need these people on television. We just don't. And this doesn't make any sense. I mean, I guess they're going to put Eddie Edwards and Frankie Kazarian as a tag team, I guess. I don't know. They still can't feud because what would you feud over? Right? I don't know. Moving on, this leads us into the Ace and Bey connection versus Decay. Black Traverse and Crazy Steve. This was a quick match right here. So, Bey hit Crazy Steve with the cutter, and Ace hit the fold for the 1-2-3. So, Ace and Bey, they walked backstage. They ran to the Motor City Machine Guns. Saban said that he was happy that the tag team division was well taken care of. They shook hands, and I was about to say the BBC. The Blackpool Combat Club. My bad. I got AEW on the brain a little bit. But Ace and Bey said that they respected them. My bad. I apologize for that mistake. But seriously though, we really need to have new fresh blood in Impact. It needs to happen. Gia Miller, she's backstage with Pajinder Gujar, and showed a preview of his diary special that would air next week. He talked about it. Dirty Dango walked up and interrupted. Dango asked why someone wanted to watch a show about Pajinder. He said that he should make a documentary about him and his life outside of wrestling. Pajinder said Pajinder said that Dango was bitter and walked off. Dango told Gia he thought that the interview girls were supposed to be hot. Oh, man, that was hilarious. Oh, boy. I'm loving Dirty Dango. Loving Dirty Dango here. And then this leads us into the main event, which was Motor City Machine Guns, Deon Purrazzo and Trinity versus Nick Aldis. My bad. Let me start over again. So the main event was the 5-on-5 tag match. The baby faces, the Motor City Machine Guns, Deon Purrazzo, Trinity, and Nick Aldis versus the heels, Trey Miguel, Kenny King, Sheldon Jean, Dizelle Shaw, and Savannah Evans. So basically, the babyface get the win here, that being Alex Shelley. He won via the shell shock to Sheldon Jean. And this was a long match, too. I didn't even pay attention to it because I didn't care. Post-match, Nick Aldis goes to hand Shelley the title, but instead he decked Shelley with it. And then Saban made the save as Nick Aldis ran out the ring. And that was it. That was how we went out the air. I enjoyed that. So, Nick Aldis being the heel is fine. This is great. I expect that Alex Shelley will be a transitional champion. He's going to have to. They're going to have to build the company around Nick Aldis. Impact needs to look legitimate. You know, they need a real legit champion. And Nick Aldis is the only guy in the company that can essentially do that. Everyone else feels like so mid-card. And we even got that with Josh Alexander. Moose had an okay little reign, but when Josh, held down Impact, it wasn't that good because it was just work rate shit. And that's not what we need. We don't need that. I think that Nick Aldis winning at Slammiversary would make would be the right decision, and it would put Impact forward. It would push them forward. The same thing with Deonna Purrazzo losing to Trinity at Slammiversary. That's what needs to happen. I think if you have Trinity as the Knockouts champion and have Nick Aldis as the world champion, I think that would send a message to people in AEW and people in WWE that you can go to Impact and be taken serious. It makes sense. I don't know how long Trinity is going to be in Impact. Hopefully she's in there for at least 2 years. At least 2 years. But like I said, they are going to fast track both Nick Aldis and Trinity as champion, and it's the right decision here because Deonna, she's fine, but to me, she's ran her course. I feel like she needs to go either to AEW or back to WWE, and that's just how I feel about it. Maclin losing against all odds is fine. I mean, it makes sense because they never saw him as a long-term champion. They weren't going to put the championship on him long. He was going to be transitional. The same thing with Alex Shelley. So you really have to build the company around Nick Aldis. And I think him being a heel would be great. You could potentially turn him back babyface. And I think what they'll end up doing is have Nick Aldis win at Slammiversary, and he and Alex Shelley can continue to feud, and then hopefully if Josh Alexander is well and fully healed by Bound for Glory, then I could see them doing that. I could see maybe Nick Aldis versus Josh Alexander at not Slammiversary, but Bound for Glory. I think that's what might happen, but I don't know. But I think that Nick Aldis needs to be the one to dethrone Alex Shelley. Again, Alex Shelley is going to be a transitional champion. I think that Chris Sabin might be a transitional champion as well. I don't see them being champions long. I don't. I see them going right back into the tag division. This was just something that Impact did just to get like a little buzz, but they're gonna keep with the plan of pushing Nick Aldis as well as pushing Trinity. But what did you guys think of the show? Let me know. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for my videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
To the